just because it's just second nature to us. You know, it couldn't even ever be another way. Just we're family, and that has transpired to the team of just full love and always showing up with that type of attitude of just like have fun, make good work, and make good money. Honestly, you know?
Hi there. Welcome to the Connecting KC podcast. I'm Rachel Kilmer, also known as Rach the Realtor on the internet, where I love, well, connecting all things KC. I'm a metro area real estate agent, retired sports reporter, and mom, and probably too old to call myself a TikToker, but honestly, that's how we got here. You can learn more at www.rachtherealtorkc.com. But this show is all about introducing you to all of the movers and shakers, interesting people, heartfelt stories, and funny quirks that make this vibrant community home. So let's get right to it with today's episode of Connecting KC. Welcome into today's episode of Connecting Kansas City, where I am so excited to be joined by Amber Giangregorio. She describes herself as a filmmaker meets poet in one body. She is the co-owner/director at Stellar Image Studios, SIS, a woman-owned full-service video production company, and her book debut, Seasons of Sobriety, was published in November 2023. Outside of filming and writing, as if that's not enough, she enjoys golfing, yoga, and is an avid reader. Amber, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You have so many different facets, so many things going on. Which one of your pursuits makes your artist heart the happiest and most satisfied?
Yeah, I think just it's a combination of both, because I think both being a writer and involving myself in film, you're just telling stories. So I would just say I really love being a storyteller. So that is really kind of, to put it into one word, that's what I would say I am. And it's kind of similar to what you do on this podcast, is you're finding the stories in Kansas City. I feel like we connect on that because that's something that fascinates me too.
Yes. It's so funny. I was thinking about that the other day. I was a sports reporter in local news in the first part of my career, and that's storytelling. And when you do a pack, they call it a package. It's like a story, like a film, 2 minutes of video and audio or whatever. You're telling a story. And I think that's so much of business and marketing in general, is just having that skill set. Were you always a storyteller when you were a kid? Has this always been part of your life? Or when did you realize that oh, this is something that I enjoy and have a knack for?
Yeah, growing up, I always told stories in terms of, I always wrote songs, I wrote poems for people, but then kind of, I would say, and even in college, I would minored in poetry. But as time went on, I would kind of got trapped in this cycle of numbing, whether that be just the way society is of just alcohol consumption, drug consumption. I completely fell into that. And it took me kind of going through therapy and going back to my roots of who I am, to find that again. I was doing it, I guess, for Stellar Image Studios, my business, of going out telling stories. But when I go home, I still like to dig and find that story of just people in the community or my friendships, relationships. I kind of got back to that, I would say, about 4 years ago. So there was a period of my life where it stopped, and it took time to realize, why did that stop?
Interesting. So I assume what led to the book, Seasons of Sobriety. Tell me about the book and that process, and at what point in this journey were you oh, a book feels natural right now? How does that come about?
So when I started to go to therapy, it was not really for me. It was because people were telling me to go. And finally, I moved to a new city. I moved to Kansas City for my business with my sister that I am running currently. And then when I got here, I moved here in 2019, but not until 2020 did I really take therapy seriously. and got a new therapist, one that I actually connected with. I think I went through 4 different therapists really to find the one that helped. And she and I started to make these realizations of, okay, there's an issue around consumption of alcohol and drugs. And she kept telling me that I need to go to AA. And I was like, there's just something about AA that was off-putting to me, because despite my love to party in the past, I was also a very faithful person. I'm a Gemini. I can be 2 things at once. I like to party and I like to pray. So with the approach of AA, I was put out on pause because of their agenda with religious purposes, things in that nature. And I just kind of always grew up with people using alcoholic, that terminology, with dismissal and shame. So I was really put off by it. And I was like, I want to change, but that just can't be the only way, is AA, to make a change in your life. So my therapist was like, well, you have always written throughout your life. Why don't you, every time that you want to take a drink, if you want to, whether that be because of a bad day or a reason to celebrate, write instead of picking up the bottle. Pick up the pen, not the bottle. So really, the book didn't start out as a book. It was just my therapeutic outlet. So then I had this collection of hundreds and hundreds of poems. And one day I was just like, I feel like there's something here. This is really helping me, leaning on these. So I put them into a collection. I split it up. So kind of to give context to why it says Seasons of Sobriety, each chapter in the book is a season. So it starts with winter, goes into spring, summer, autumn, and each one is a phase of the journey. There's about 30 poems with each chapter season.
Wow, that's such a huge undertaking. Was it? I've always heard writers say that writing a book is the hardest thing you've ever done. Did you find that to be true, or was it really organic because it kind of came to be in an organic way too?
I didn't think it was the hardest thing I've ever done. I would say I've been through harder things. But it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. Having it in your hands, seeing it on a bookstore shelf, those things, and also the people that it also helps. Because now that I'm out of that world, the book and some of the poems in there I don't identify with. I don't constantly ruminate on those pieces of my life anymore. I think I kind of look at the book like it's a diploma because when you're healing, or if you're going to therapy for a problem or an issue, trauma, whatever it is, I look at that like going to school. So there almost has to be an end date to it, because you can't continue just talking about your problems. So the book has been closed for me and it exists for other people. I want to say the book really exists for me anymore, even though I love to talk about it still because of those comments I get and feedback from people saying how helpful it has been.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. Tell me about your business. It's so interesting to me. You work with your sister. Did you move here to work with her? Had she already started the business, or how did Sis come to be?
Yeah, so Jasmine and I started Stellar Image Studios about 6 years ago, and we started it at the same time. I was living in Omaha, Nebraska. That's where we're from. She was in Kansas City working corporate. I was doing corporate in Omaha, just on a marketing team, filming for that marketing team, and I would do a lot of side gigs for other businesses or weddings, things of that nature, but she really wanted to go off and start her own thing. She started multiple businesses in the past, and I filmed one of the businesses she was working on as a side gig. And at their annual gala party, one of her mentors came up to her and asked her who did the video for her. And she said, my sister. And he said, that's who you need to go into business with. You guys need to start a video production company. You guys need to team up. So we slowly but surely just started meeting at the Johnson County Library in their makerspace. We'd meet with him. They'd Zoom me in if I wasn't in town. And just ever since then, we started to slowly grow the client list. And now we're here. I eventually moved to Kansas City due to how many clients we were getting here, because she focuses on the business development side. I have focused on like the creative side, training employees, things of that nature, more of like the operational hands-on work. So that's kind of how we've teamed up together. But with that, I feel like the best part of the business is getting to tell so many stories in Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, your website is unbelievable. It's so good. It's so pretty. It's like, it tells the story. Like the second you click on, it's like, yeah, I mean, clearly you guys are amazing at what you do because you tell your own story so well, and like the website and everything. I love it. Love it. How has it been working with your sister? Have you guys had to like work through some sisterly stuff, or because you guys kind of run different sides of the business, you don't have as much, butting heads as some siblings might?
Yeah, I think no matter who you're running a business with, there will be things that come up. But I think that's to our advantage since we are sisters. We can be so honest with each other. And no matter which way we go in the future, we've always been super supportive of each other in terms of just like raising our families, our other ventures that we do outside of the business. We've always been so supportive of each other. Like she actually was one of the reasons why I even went to therapy in the first place. And so like even writing this book she was like a huge inspiration of that, and like was supportive throughout the whole process of it.
So cool. I love that. I know people say like, don't hire your friends, don't hire your family, but my operations manager on my team is my best friend that's like a sister too. And I know we always joke because like we have no boundaries. There are no boundaries for better or for worse, but it is nice to have that like just ongoing open line of communication that's like way easier just to like have the conversation versus if it's someone that you don't have that deep well of like history to pull from, you have to like, so let's like, let me be gentle about this. And, so I totally get that. That is awesome. What kind of storytelling do you guys do? What do you guys do at SIS? What kind of companies do you work with the most? Like, what's your jam?
Yeah, we do a lot of corporate storytelling, but we do all different types. Like we're here to ease anyone's video need so they can go out and inspire other people. So we do so many different types of work, not just corporate, but I would say that's our main bread and butter in terms of like construction companies, banks, hospitals. That is like a huge core part of our business. But I think everyone does love working with our nonprofits as well, telling those like more emotional sides to the story, small businesses. Not that we don't love those other clients, but they end up all just bleeding into each other. Like even creative projects, we've done music videos and things like that as well. We've done like Roku TV shows, things of that nature. So it really is such a wide range.
That's fun. That keeps it every day different and interesting, right? To have something new. I was noticing that you guys have a motion graphic artist on your team. And like even on your website, your little like bios or like the stop motion like pictures, like it seems like you guys have such a specific style. Where has that was it obvious right away like, hey, this is our style, this is our thing, or has that evolved over time?
I feel like we've always had a little bit of that edge to our style, and I think that's why a lot of our clients like us, because we bring like a young new twist to video. And just when we were first starting out, I challenged myself to like go out and talk to 50 to 80 people in the industry to just like learn, get coffee. And I could definitely start to adapt a certain style of like people that I would gravitate towards, because there's so many different types. Video production has been around for so long at this point that there's almost like this older, more mature style, sometimes like old man video. is what we say, which is probably not fair or nice, but there is a certain older style. And then I think what we bring is just like this young vibe that's more kind of something that you would see like in a very polished vlog or a YouTube channel, just something that's a more of that style, like edge. I love edge.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And yeah, you guys definitely have it. It is so cool. Like even, I don't know, I was watching some of your work on there. It's like you mentioned, a construction company or whatever, like a boring client, you know, we need all these boring companies to make the world go round, right? But how do they differentiate themselves to their client? And it's like hiring someone like you guys. Do you find it hard to keep a staff? Is it hard to find people that like not only have the skills, but also like the eye for the style that you guys are going for?
We've had our employees, everyone that's been working with us has been working with us for at least a couple of years now. So, and we have 8 employees. Maybe there's 1 or 2 that is like a year, but it's been for a good amount of time, especially the core people on the team have been there for at least 4 to 5, like 3, 4, 5 years, which is super solid because everything is trainable to me, especially like I love to teach and we do this program. It's called SHOW, Sis Hands-On Workshop. And so with this workshop, we go out into the community, we host a free workshop, give access to mainly women and minorities, but it is open to anyone to apply for it, that they can come in and take a 2-month deep dive course into video production. And that's actually how we found some of our employees, is them coming in, they're green, they don't know all the things, but they end up learning so much. So it's not really, you don't hire based on skill. You hire based on personality, who shows up on time, who's coming here with excitement and openness that gets along with the culture. You know, we really create such a special space for people to feel safe to work in. And once you're able to do that, I feel like people show up. People stay committed, loyal, you know, and we're really flexible too. Like, there's a lot of benefits as a creative to work at SIS due to getting free gear rentals for your own passion projects on the side, things like that, unlimited PTO, like just we get your projects done, you know?
That it's so fun to see you guys employing people and doing it in a way that is like just being a good human, you know, because I see so many of my peers working for these like heartless, soulless companies that they say they have a limited PTO, but we all know that means you have no PTO or, you know, whatever. And then like even thinking about specifically for your employees, the gear rentals is such a clever idea of like, okay, who is someone that is likely to come work here and how can I make this a rewarding place for them to work? How satisfying is it for you to and your sister to have this team of people you obviously love and adore because it's a small team, also be able to provide them with this kind of workplace environment?
Yeah, it is satisfying, but it also you don't really think about it a lot, just because it's just second nature to us. You know, it couldn't even ever be another way. Just we're family, and that has transpired to the team of just full love and always showing up with that type of attitude of just like have fun, make good work, and make good money. Honestly, you know?
I love it. It clearly translates into the product. So that is so, so, so cool. Okay, last couple of questions I'll ask you that I ask everyone that comes on the show. First one is, what is a great meal that you've had out and about in Kansas City recently?
So I'm trying to think of this place. It's in the Crossroads. It is an outside burger place. It's like a little pop-up truck. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like hidden No, not Town Topic. It's hidden. Oh my gosh, it's slipping me.
I'm Googling.
Because I'm pregnant right now. So there is just something about a burger that I'm just like, I need meat. It starts with an S, I think. I'll find it for you. What's your burger place? If you like a burger, what would you say your burger place is?
I like bar burgers. Like I want like Johnny's Tavern or like 54th Street, or just like it's no frills, not fancy, just like a really thick burger from a bar is always my go-to. Like even like I like Town Topic and like those ones, but it's like I don't know, it's just I want just like like a thick like meat. So that's what I like, any like local bar and grill basically.
Yeah. Okay, Sauced. That's the name.
Sauced. Oh my gosh. Doing the Lord's work over here. She found it.
They have great chicken, great fried chicken, burgers, and fries. That's like all you can pretty much get there, but it is so good. They have weird hours, and it's kind of hidden. You have to like walk through. You have to walk to see it, I feel like.
Interesting. Yeah, 11 to 2. Yeah, they do have weird hours. That sounds like it's totally worth the effort, though, to find it.
It's so good.
I'm so happy for your little pregnant self that you found a great burger to satisfy that craving. That's so real. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I went to there's this barbecue place out kind of between Grand Valley, Oak Grove, and Lee Summit out in the country. And it's called Porky's. And it's literally like in the country. Like it's all residential, like farmland and, acreage properties around it. And it's super popular out here. And everyone always rants and raves about how good it is. And they have weird hours too. So I had never been. And I was like 9 months pregnant, like so pregnant. And when I have barbecue, I want French fries with it. I don't know. I'm just a French fries girly. And we walked in and I'm like, okay, can I have like the pulled pork sandwich and some French fries? And this little like snot-nosed like 15-year-old was working the counter, was like, ma'am, this is a 120-year-old building. Does it look like we have a deep fryer in here? And I literally like my eyes, I started crying because I was like, I just wanted some fries. So I feel you on a deep level.
You should try Sauced if you like fries, because their fries are really good.
Okay, I will. This is just shot to the top of my list. If a pregnant lady recommends it, then there's no questions asked. Like, so awesome. Well, Amber, thank you for taking the time to come on the show. I really appreciate it. We'll be keeping an eye on all things cis in all your writing to see what's next on your journey. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Yep, guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.